Mo, it's I Pick the Topic Tuesday.
I'm very happy that you're picking topics today because I'm tired of picking topics.
I know. First, we're going to start with Jermaine Gresham.
Okay.
Where was he last night?
Great question. 3 catches for 30 yards. That was number 84, right? He's a guy who can't disappear. We talked all season long about the search for a number 2 wide receiver, and often my answer was, it's Jermaine Gresham. Well, last night it wasn't. And Jermaine Gresham all but disappeared from the offense. Really didn't have that much of an impact. And if that's the case more often than not this season, they're going to struggle offensively. Yes, there are other threats, you'd like to think, but how many of them are going to be consistent? Jermaine is at a stage in his career, 3rd year in the NFL, coming off the Pro Bowl season a year ago, where he's got to be a little bit more consistent and not have games like last night's where I spend a lot of time going, hey, do we have a tight end? Jermaine is supposed to be a matchup problem. He's supposed to be money in the red zone. He's supposed to be a pretty viable deep threat for a tight end. And last night against Baltimore, he was none of those things in a game where the Bengals needed him to be really all of those things, maybe more so than anything, especially on offense. The thing I was disappointed in most was the lack of good production from their tight end, Jermaine Gresham.
Is there something wrong with Aroldis Chapman?
Something wrong physically, I haven't examined him, but look, I'm starting to take things with a grain of salt because most every issue the Reds have had from an injury standpoint this year or a fatigue standpoint this year has been initially ruled as something not to worry about. Day to day, not a big deal. What? Worry? Huh? Why are you looking here? Those sort of things. Now, is his shoulder hurt? I don't know. But when you've seen such a steep drop in velocity, you can't help but worry. Is he the first pitcher ever to suffer some fatigue near the end of the season? Of course not. And would that make the most sense? Yeah, I tend to think so. But remember, and Dusty Baker has said this about Chapman before, he's not the most forthcoming guy when it comes to discussing how he feels, to revealing pain, to revealing injury. And so I'm not going to completely rule those things out either. I'm concerned about Chapman. I'm not over the edge worried, but yeah, it's a legit concern when your closer, whose game is throwing it fast, isn't throwing it as fast right now.
And last question.
Yeah.
At 6 o'clock right now, the Reds' magic number is at 12.
Okay.
But they have some offensive issues, right?
Yeah, look, I'm as big a fan of enjoying this season and enjoying clinching and just sitting back for a few minutes and enjoying what this team has done. It's been a fun year. We know that. Last 9 games, they've scored a grand total of 24 runs. And I know Cozart hasn't been in the order, but look, Zach Cozart isn't the difference between being an average offense and a good offense. And I know Scott Rowland's back is an issue, but Scott Rowland's back is like always an issue. Votto is back. Phillips is hitting leadoff. Jay Bruce is hitting, and yet this team is still having a hard time scoring runs. I don't know how you look at October and not be a little concerned about what happens to this offense, especially if there are starting pitching issues, namely with Johnny Cueto. I don't know how you're not concerned about how this offense churns out runs against better pitching staffs in the postseason. At the forefront is enjoying a clinch. At the forefront is enjoying what this team is about to accomplish. At the forefront right now is getting ready for what hopefully is an exciting and long October. But it's not going to be a long October if this team can't score runs consistently. And throughout the course of the first 140-plus games of the season, especially recently, it hasn't been able to do that. And there's no trade to make, no additional guy to add. Votto is back, and they've made a change at the top of the order. I don't know how that changes across the course of the next 3 weeks. Email me, right? Mo@ESPN1530.com, or you can send me a tweet. I'm on Twitter, @MoEgger1530.